Shalom. All praise to YAHAWADAH, MANASHAH, Kokodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone, real well. Peace, blessings, salutations to you, elect Akion, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing his, doing his work. Do this video real quick. It's basically, basically how, as far, America's insemination, as far as when it was established, we know it was established by bloodshed, rape, robbing, murder of you Israelites. In the news you have Donald Trump. He's calling for the soldiers to come home, basically from Syria, and basically giving the assertion that they're gonna get out of the Midwest, the war in the Middle East. I meant to say, the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what he's alluding to by doing that. But we know, America, the powers that be in America, in the world, they love war. They profit off war. All the wars were bankers' wars, and they ain't gonna stop, man. So, pretty much World War III is gonna be, something that's gonna still occur regardless. I just got a little video I'm gonna play, read some scriptures.
Following in the footsteps of puppets who came before, President Donald Trump is now pushing for further entanglements in foreign wars.
We're making a decision as to what we do with respect to the horrible attack that was made near Damascus, and it will be met, and it will be met forcefully.
But the same establishment that wants you to believe they're concerned with accountability and the welfare of humanity has been lying for decades to justify indiscriminate violence. They lied about Vietnam in the 1960s.
Renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas and the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply.
They lied about Iraq in the 1990s after helping Saddam rise.
That's that Edomite woman. She's basically speaking on true facts. So-called white man has lied about every single war, Vietnam War, Iraq War. He's lied about the events leading up to that, to the actual war, you see. And, I don't get into it back and forth with people who don't believe, that it's just a conspiracy and things of that nature, because there's too much facts, and there's documents. I'm playing a video, but there's actual documents to prove so. But just for edification, I'm going to play the video, because if I were to read it, it'd be a very long video. Gulf of Tonkin, things of that nature, those type of things actually exist, because we know that, the so-called white man isn't honest, so he can't be like, I want your resources, I want to overthrow you, so I'm going to take you down and put my military. No, he has to create an event. He has to create an event, or he has to do something that's, I forget the actual name for it. I'm thinking of it. It's not guerrilla warfare. It's if I remember it, I'm gonna put it in the comment box. If I remember the actual term, how he works. But I'm gonna play a video.
To power.
I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators.
They lied about Iraq in the 2000s.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use them against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction very seriously.
They lied about wanting to protect civilians in Libya in 2011.
And I paused it on Barack Obama, but for starters, Barack Obama isn't black. He isn't a Negro. He's a Hamite. He's an African. He's not our people, and he did nothing for our people. He did nothing for Americans, so to speak. But what he did do for Americans, I would say, is allow homosexuals and lesbians to get married in all 50 states, and pretty much force bogus ass healthcare on you. You can thank him for that. And real quick, because I mentioned it, I'm going to get Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days, in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat." That is the Middle East, which you consider the Middle East. "And will plead with them that there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So I'm going to read this one. "And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot and so a girl for wine that they might drink." So, everything that's being said as far as war right now is just hearsay, and it's just, oh, well, I'm going to get it, because the scripture speaks about the Lord coming back in the midst of another war, which is World War III, and all bets are off, so, that has to happen.
Left unchecked, we have every reason to believe that Gaddafi would commit atrocities against his people. Many thousands could die. A humanitarian crisis would ensue.
In truth, they'd been planning regime change all along. They're lying about wanting to protect civilians in Syria, where they routinely kill civilians.
We have reached the moment when the world must see justice done.
They've been trying to undermine the Assad regime for decades, and
there goes a document for scoffers. Salaki is loading, but I did have a scripture, Matthew 24, because the scriptures speak about how
against his people.
The scriptures speak about how because I mentioned the hearsay about the war. Matthew 24:6, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So that's a future prophecy here written, that there should be wars and rumors of wars. Everything is a rumor for right now. Everything is just tit for tat, but you're not troubled because it ain't got that bad yet.
Many thousands could die. A humanitarian crisis would ensue.
In truth, they'd been planning regime change all along. They're lying about wanting to protect civilians in Syria, where they routinely kill civilians.
We have reached the moment when the world must see justice done.
They've been trying to undermine the Assad regime for decades, and the current administration has already expressed its desire to see him go.
There's not any sort of option where a political solution is going to happen with Assad at the head of the regime.
They're also
that was a glitch. I don't know what that was about.
institutions that repeatedly prove themselves dishonest and corrupt are actually true. U.S. policy in Iraq, for example, led to the deaths of countless innocent people, including children, and the growth of ISIS, whose ideology is aligned with that of a U.S. ally. In Libya, the country is overrun by multiple terror factions and literally has a thriving slave trade. In Afghanistan, the Taliban continues to dominate despite multiple troop surges over 17 years of conflict. Even Trump supporters, who otherwise unwaveringly defend him, can see a military strike as a terrible terrible move. So if you're still buying into the belief that this is about protecting human life, even though Trump's bombs have killed thousands of civilians after his little more than a year in office, think again. If you're simply indifferent or complacent towards these wars and more concerned with a porn star and the president's attorney, you've been effectively programmed into passively supporting the true threat, which is far greater than Donald Trump, the US war machine, the powerful special interests that drive it, and of course you, the American who doesn't bat an eye while their tax dollars fund ineffective, brutal violence. How many times are we going to keep falling for this while expecting a different outcome? There are insidious people and powers ruling the US government that have no respect or concern for human life. And if they did, they'd start by attacking their own institutions.
God, I'm glad she said that, because I had a precept I was looking at. Because I believe the last person was shown was Eisenhower, which is a well-known Luciferian, well-known Satanist, a well-known Antichrist, so-called president. So the Lord, has to come and wipe all the history of America away. I'm gonna read this. Revelation 18:1. And after those things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and earth was enlightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong face, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. It is fallen, and it is come the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Because America's going to get nuked and blasted by nuclear missiles in World War III. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people. So you're not supposed to be joining the military at all, period. My people, that ye may ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she remembered you, and double unto her double, according to her works, and the cup which she filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. The kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's a pretty good whole chapter, but I'll pretty much leave it at that. So, America has been scheming and scamming and frauding the whole time, through his blessing, the power of his sword, you see. And, you're going to see more rumors of wars. You're going to see more pieces of the puzzle being made in a world stage. And a good series to watch is the Brothers in Dallas, the algorithm, the algo videos that they post up, gives you a rundown on, Esau's military and different, sectors of his beast system, With that, I'm saying all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Ruach. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to you, Akim, pushing his word, and shalom.